So thank you, Carrie, and thanks to everyone for joining today's user group. And I'm excited to demonstrate some of the new mapping capabilities of Miradi Share. I'm going to be giving a live demo. It's really a first minimum viable product, fully functional to handle some of the basic spatial mapping, but we really look forward to hearing from you as to what features and functions you want to see going forward. First, I'm just going to give you a quick reveal the survey results of the responses that we got. The first question was whether you were aware of this, and most people weren't, so it's a good topic for a user group session. In terms of the factors that you would like to use for spatial mapping, strong interest in project boundary, targets, and threats, but strategies and activities not too far behind. So it's great to see that, and monitoring activities even higher than the strategy and activity. In terms of different ways to create spatial features, kind of equal interest in adding polygons directly in Miradi Share, as well as importing shape files, which you can do both of that, and then also importing a project map. And then in terms of different kinds of maps that you could get out of it, a pretty even split between images and PDF and standard GIS files. And then the last question was what other geospatial tools you're using. Pretty strong interest in ArcGIS, desktop, but also it's encouraging to see the Google Earth on there as well. Okay, so I am now going to give you a live demo of Miradi Share and the mapping features. I'm going to focus mostly on the project level mapping, but you can do project and program. And I'll come back at the end and show you a couple of things about the program map feature. But the first thing that you would need to do to work with maps in Miradi Share is to upload your projects to Miradi. And all of you can take advantage of this new functionality and load projects into the community library. And the example that I'm going to be using today is from the marine example that gets shipped with Miradi Desktop. And you can go to that project and view the maps that are in there by just selecting the community library program in Miradi Share and then going to the projects button here. And then you can just search on the words marine example in one of these filter fields and open it up from there. And you'll be able to see the same maps that I'm going to be demonstrating today. So you can both view maps and edit maps. I'm going to start with viewing, and you do that under the Explore map, and you'd go to the project map, which is what I'm showing right here. And you'll see that there's a panel on the left that has all of your mappable factors, targets and threats. And if I scroll down a little bit, you'd see that there are strategies and activities and things like that. So you've got this panel over on the left. You can turn layers on or off by clicking on the little eye icons. So I'm turning the coral reef layer off and on. The project boundary is off. I'm turning it back on here. The eye icons that are black and that have an open editing box next to it, which you'll see in just a second, are ones that already have some spatial features. The ones that are gray with a plus don't. And so you'll see that in the edit function as well. You can zoom in and out using either these controls or a mouse wheel. You can make this whole panel disappear over to the left by clicking on that top panel. And then you can zoom to a full screen version of this by clicking on the icon on the little docking bar there. In terms of knowing what layers you're looking at, if you click on any of the shapes in your project, it will tell you what factor is being displayed. Here's one of our direct threats on rats. You can also turn on a label feature, which is currently turned off. And if I turn that on, it doesn't show up well on the satellite imagery, but that's a good segue into showing you some of the other base maps. And there's 4 to choose from. What we're looking at here is a street view, which in most cases would have roads and the ability to, and cities, but this is an island out in the Pacific that doesn't have that. There's a topographic map that you can use as a background. And then sometimes it's helpful just to have a really plain gray background, which you can display as a background. I'm going to go back to the satellite image right now, and I'm going to turn the layers back off. So this is that's a quick view of a quick demo of the view mode where you are able to turn layers on and off. You can look at different base maps, and you can identify factors either by clicking on them or using the label feature. What I want to do now is switch over to the edit mode, which is what you would do instead of explore project map. You'd go to edit project map, and that's what we have queued up right here. And this is you know, the same project, but we're in an edit mode now. And what I'm going to do is zoom in to the upper portion of this North Island and demonstrate a little bit of data entry. So to turn on and edit any of the layers, you click on the plus symbol that's over on the left. Let me actually go to full screen mode here. I'll zoom in a little bit more, and I'm going to add some shape data for the medium clams nested target. So I'm going to click on the plus, and you'll see a panel that pops up in the top right. If I wanted to add a rectangle to this, it's a very simple shape to create. I can just left click with my mouse and drag, and I now have a polygon representing the clam area here. If I want to remove an existing shape, click on the trash can, and I can click on it and save, and it's gone. From the survey results, one of the more common shapes to add is a polygon. So I'm going to click on that, and now I can just start clicking using, you know, features on my satellite imagery in this case. And I'm going to include a section of the forest because I want to show you how to edit that out. But I'm just going to go around the perimeter here and just left clicking with the mouse. And when I get around to the beginning, as soon as I click on the first point, it will save that as a polygon shape. Now, if I wanted to edit that and say, oops, I got some forest area in there, I can click on the edit icon, and you can see that there are bright white square vertices along the edge, and I can grab any of them. If I click on any of the gray vertices, it will pop up and create two new ones. So you can see it's easy to adjust and edit these. If you wanted to delete one of these, you could click on it as well. So it's easy to edit and then save polygons in that kind of a fashion. So adding points and lines is even simpler. If we took a look at the anchor damage point layer, you can see there's a number of points. If I wanted to add a new point, which is called a marker here, it'd be really easy to go in there and just add that to the other points. If I wanted to remove all of the existing shapes, that's only removing the shapes that are in the layer that you're editing. So you can see I just deleted them all, but oops, I didn't want to do that, so I'm going to cancel that. So that's just kind of a quick look at the ability to add polygons and points in Miradi Share. You can also make copies of any of the shapes that you have. You can see that the rat threat here corresponds to the same area as the seabird target, which I haven't turned off right now, but I didn't have to digitize those separately. I can copy one to the other. And there's a video, a 10-minute video that you can check out that talks about that. It also talks about how to import a shape file directly into Miradi Share, which is very simple to do, and it's covered in that tutorial. But what I want to switch to next is to show you the program map features. And I'm going to switch over now from the community library where I've been working in to an example of the Nature Conservancy program. And so there's three things I want to show you about the program level mapping. The first one is just viewing the program map, which you can under Explore Program. This is showing the 72 countries where the Nature Conservancy is doing some kind of conservation work right now. And I'm going to zoom in and pan, and you do need to zoom in order to pan around in here. But now what we're looking at is a portfolio of regional priority projects in North America. And you can see those listed there. I could turn the label feature on. You could see them displayed. I can click on any of these, and it will actually bring up a mechanism for me to just go directly to that record. So you can see the overall boundary of our work. You can click or create a portfolio of projects, but there's also a nice feature on map layers. And if we go to the map layers, which is what I have open right here, you can bring in shape files that then you can use in your project level mapping to speed up getting polygons of shapes that you want. You can see I have imported just several shape files, one for TNC countries, another one for states and provinces around the world, and then one for lakes. So any shape file that you find that you want to bring in that will enable you to just borrow from this. And that's the last thing that I wanted to demonstrate, is that kind of borrowing from those map layers. So I'm switching now to a different, at the project level of the project in Papua New Guinea that's actually working at the whole country level. So I'm going to zoom in to the map layer, which you can see I have turned on right now. If I turned it off, you'd see all that gray go away. But what I want to do is, I do not have a project boundary in here yet. So I want to borrow this shape of the Papua New Guinea country program and add it to my project boundary. So I can do that by just putting the mouse over Papua New Guinea, clicking on copy, and you can see a dashed line come up around that. Now I'm going to go into edit mode for my project boundary, and anywhere on the map, I'm just going to click paste. And what I have now, I'll turn off the country layer. You can see I now have, with just a couple clicks of the mouse, have entered a polygon for the project boundary. But you could do that for any of the targets or other things as well. So that's just another example of the program level mapping capabilities. So that is the end of the live demo that I wanted to give you today. We really invite you to start creating maps. As I mentioned earlier, you can, all of you on this call can go in right now and start building those maps for your Miradi projects in the community library. And we want to hear from you what features and functions you want to see going forward, and stay tuned to additional Miradi Share mapping features and map-based reporting tools.
And Dan, this is Nick. If I could just add one thing.
Yep.
What you guys see here is not the end of mapping in the Miradi world. It's just the beginning. So what we've tried to do here is create a basic platform to get the basic open standards objects like targets, like threats, like project areas onto the map. Our next phase is going to be able to then click on one of those targets, and you could see the viability analysis, or sort of linking through to other attributes of those shapes and that information. So just be aware that this is a starting point, not an end point.
Yep, thanks Nick for emphasizing that. So what we're going to do now is, we had a short follow-up poll after you see that, and we're going to do the Q&A, so similar to what you did with Giselle's presentation, but Carrie's brought up this poll. So just fill in these questions as we're taking the Q&A, and then we'll transition, and Nick will talk a little bit about some of the other kinds of Miradi Share reporting features that are coming.
Yeah, thanks.
So, yep, so I can see the questions here. Yeah. Right,
okay,
ahead,
I just wanted to say I mistakenly I mistakenly clicked on one of the questions. So an earlier person asked, can you upload shape files? And you showed that yes, you can upload shape files, but they also asked, are you able to upload JPEGs or PDFs within the map tool?
No, right, no, you currently cannot import any image files, but you absolutely can import shape files from other sources in. Carrie, if you want, I have the Q&A panel up. I can just dive into the next one.
That's
which
great.
Is those base layers they're already there for everyone to draw from, so you didn't have to upload any of those. I uploaded some map layers of those lakes and countries and states. In terms of the next question, GIS files can take up a lot of space. How's that managed in Miradi? There is right now a 10 megabyte limit on the shape files that you can bring in for map layers. I don't know if that applies for importing shape files into a Miradi project. The way that we're handling the really big ones is they can be brought in to view only. You can't edit them. If they're smaller, I think if they're under 10 megabytes, you can treat them like they were polygons or points or lines that you added in Miradi. They're fully editable. But the bigger ones, you would have to just import them and view them and work with them in a view only mode. Okay, mapping is only available in Miradi Share, not in Miradi Desktop. We decided to go that route and do an online mapping experience for everyone. So in terms of the next question from Erica, can you save different versions of a project map? Threats from 2015, 2016, 2017, that's not a feature that's supported right now. But that's something that, as Nick and I said, we really want to hear from you, what kinds of new features and functions. In terms of shapefiles, the projection and datum, there is some information on the import button that talks about those requirements. I've actually found it to be quite good at bringing in shapefiles and projecting them correctly on the top of the base maps that are in there. But you'll play around with that and let us know if that's the same experience that you have.
Dan, can I say one more thing? This is Nick. I think it's really important to understand that the way we're positioning the mapping tool in Miradi, in the Miradi world, we are not going to try to compete with ARC or Esri or sort of sophisticated mapping programs. So if you want to do complex GIS analyses, get your GIS people to do that, and then we can import the results in. What we're trying to do is find that sweet spot of being able to display important Miradi project management information, and also giving people a tool for them that don't want to go through the complex GIS world to be able to do some simple basic mapping, but then also import and talk to that more complicated world. So we really value your feedback of whether we're walking that line appropriately.
So just doing a time check here. It's we have about 11 minutes total left. Dan, did you want to read through the responses to the poll?
Yeah, go ahead and give us the poll results. We'll just take a look at them. Really, I'm curious to see if, as a result of seeing this live demo, it looks like that's great to see that over 80%, over 90% of you are likely or extremely likely to try creating a project map. So we encourage you to do that. Are you interested in the program mapping features? It looks like over 80% likely or extremely likely. Is it useful to have this kind of simple mapping tool? Again, looks pretty encouraging there. How important is it to integrate into external GIS systems? This is something that we need to work on in the near future. It looks like that's what we're hearing from you, being able to export out of Miradi Share and get it into ArcMap and other things. How many program layers would you like to use? It looks like for most people it would be in the 10 or less than 10. And then in terms of layers, geographic, habitat, species, biophysical, okay? Yeah,